Hey everyone, welcome back once again to The People We Bunker. Today we're looking at 2014's Woman in Black 2, Angel of Death. It's brought to us by Tom Harper, who has done a lot of British TV. Movie is the story of a young woman who goes out to Eel Marsh House. This is 40 years later than the original Woman in Black. We are now in the throes of World War II. England is, experiencing the Blitz. And this woman goes out to Eel Marsh House with a group of children, children whose parents are no longer around thanks to this lovely war. This one, there's part of me that wanted to like it. I did, and I think from some aspects it had gorgeous set design, and just the look of it overall, most of the time was great. The times it didn't look great is the time that the cinematography, that the lighting was too dark. And I understand sometimes you're going for a specific feel, but I don't know, this whole really dark but not quite pitch black, where you can kind of see movement, doesn't do anything for me. For me, it seems like you done screwed up, but you're out of money, so you couldn't fix it, so you couldn't reshoot that scene, is what it feels like. It doesn't feel scary, it doesn't feel claustrophobic, it doesn't really feel dark, because you can kind of see movement, but you can't see what's going on, so that actually ends up annoying you more than anything else. The movie had moments where it builds up a little bit of tension, but it quickly falters afterwards, and it doesn't really strike me that much as good horror storytelling. And again, this is a problem I have with some movies that I don't think need sequels. I don't think Woman in Black needed a sequel. And again, we have to go through some of the origin story stuff of why this woman in the house is acting the way she is. So to me, if you're going to go see a movie that's labeled number 2, you should have seen number 1 already, so we can skip all of this stupid background stuff, not necessarily stupid, but all this extra background stuff that was covered in the first movie, and we can just have more of a story and deal more with the characters than finding out the exact same stuff we found out in the first one, pretty much, of this woman had her baby taken away from her, and he drowned out there in the marsh, and great. That I don't care. I really don't. And parts of the story just seemed kind of forced, and it just didn't work as well as the first one. And I'm not a huge fan of the first one, but I felt the first one delivered much better than this one did. And it is not the fault of the actors. I think the actors in this were fine. I've heard some other people, one person recommended me, is that there are worse movies out there. Well, that's not really a good recommendation, that there's something worse. You know what? There are worse things than herpes. I don't want herpes. And I'm not saying this movie is on the level of having, giant genital sores, but at times it's uncomfortable because it seems to be tedious at times, where it just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Aside from that, a scale of 1 to 10, oh man, it's kind of like you're listening to kind of a boring history lesson. And you're kind of dozing off, and then the professor throws a book down on the floor to wake you up. Because there's that little bit of moment where you're like, oh, that jump scare there, and then back to boring history lesson. And it just didn't quite work for me as a film in general. I felt bored through a large part of it, even though, as I said, it has gorgeous set design, it has pretty good acting as well, but just it didn't deliver as far as a good story in general, not just a horror story, just the story in general. It didn't engage me at all. I didn't care that much about the people involved. And being spoilery here, I'm really sick of the let's have a happy ending. Oh look, now they're going off, they're all together and they're happy and they're fun, and oh wait, pan back and something. You know what? I would prefer if you just left it open. Don't even give me this whole thing of how the evil is still there and it wasn't vanished, it wasn't conquered. You don't have to show a curtain move. You don't have to show some face come out and scream at the camera. Leave it, and I can then go, did they finish it? Is it done? Because then it's wide open. The fact that you give that fact that boom, there's something there, it just tells me we're going to try to make another sequel out of this. We're going to try to make another sequel. We're going to try to make more money off this. And you know what? If you don't do that, it doesn't mean you can't do a sequel to something. It doesn't. Just because someone thinks, hey, the evil's vanquished, great. They think it's vanquished. It wasn't. Or was it? Maybe it was. I don't know. And that just, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth whenever I see that. You know, the whole, the end, question mark. Oh my gosh. Oh, what now? I don't care. So, that's all I've got for this one. Till next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland, folks.